Hey, how's it going? This is your boy Chris Harris, and I'm with you with another episode of Open Doors. Before we get started, I just want to thank you for taking the time to check out this podcast, to check out this episode. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button so you don't have to search, you don't have to look for new episodes, because trust me, we're dropping them week in and week out. We're hitting you with different episodes, so you don't have to look around for the episodes they drop. It will come right to you. So hit that subscribe button. Also hit the like button for this episode and share this episode with your friends, with those you know. Just share it, because this topic and other topics, I'm sure other people want to put their 2 cents in. All right? Now, today, I have a topic that I want you and I to discuss. And this topic, it hits dear to my heart, and I'll let you know in a minute. I want to play a reel. This reel I came across the other day, and I was laughing because, trust me, this reel, once you see it and once we start talking about, like I said, it hits near and dear to my heart, and it probably hits near and dear to a lot of your hearts. And it's a topic that we definitely need to discuss. Let me play this reel for
you. Get off of me! Get off of me! Watch it off! Watch it, I said! Get off of me!
Coming in at all hours. Coming in with a fresh mouth on top of it.
That's what you want to talk about, not musicians or opportunities.
You keep it up. You just keep talking. And you ain't gonna have no front teeth left. One more crack out of you, boy, and I'll slap the black off of you.
No, you won't. Don't you ever put your hands on him. That's my child. And no man's gonna put his hands on my child.
If the police pick his ass up off the street, you ain't gonna have no child.
Get in your room, Benji. Get in there. Now, I say. You are not to touch him. I mean, that's all. I'm through with it.
No, that is not all. Don't be bringing me none of that sweets. Benjamin Johnson thinks he is 30, but he is only 13 years old, and he's better off learning that from me than from some stranger on the streets. First it straightened out Benji, and now it's what some man ain't gonna come in here and do to your child. Well, I do not play that.
He said, I'll slap the black off you. How many of you out there, you watching this episode? I'm sure some of you, your parents have said that to you when you were growing up. I'm sure a lot of you have said that. We've had parents who said that I'll slap the black off you. He said, you'll go to school, you'll go out, you won't have any color. When it comes to filling out the application, when they ask you what race you are, you have to put other, because I'll be and slapped all the race, all the color off of you. But he said, I'll slap the black off you. But that's not what I want to talk about. I was watching this reel. And when I watched this reel, I immediately had a conversation with my wife. Me and my wife had a conversation. We had a discussion. Just a little background about myself. When I first met my wife, when I married my wife, she had 3 kids already. So when I married her, she had 3 kids, 2 sons and a daughter. We got married, and I've raised them like my own. They're my own now. But just coming in, I just want to set up this topic. Just coming in that she was coming in with 3 kids. I had none at the time. I had none. She was coming in with 3 kids. So this is the question for you. Now, the reel I just showed is from a movie, A Hero Ain't Nothing But a Sandwich. It's a movie in 1977, a young Paul Winfield and a young, beautiful Cicely Tyson. And Cicely Tyson is a single mother. She has a son, Benji, and she's dating Paul Winfield. And Paul Winfield comes into the picture, and he's trying to, court and get to know Cicely Tyson, but he's also trying to be a father figure to her son, Benji, in this movie. So this is the topic, right? Because Paul Winfield in the reel, he's trying to discipline the boy. The boy's out of control. He's trying to discipline the boy. And she said, no man is going to touch my son. So this is the question I want to throw out there to you. Would you let someone else discipline your children? And this is something we're going to just lay it out there. I'm going to lay it out for you real quick. I'm going to lay it out for you because this is something that we have to talk about. Like I said, myself, when I met my wife and when we both got together, she came into the picture with 3 children. I'm sure a lot of us, we're grown. So you probably have kids and you're going into another relationship if you're dating or if you're looking for someone else, or the person that you're dating or you're getting to know and hopefully get married to, they might have kids. So this is something that we need to talk about. Trust me, we need to talk about. Would you let someone else, if you have kids, would you let someone else discipline your children? And we got to look at the scenarios, right? Because let's say you have kids and maybe you were married before, you were in a relationship before, and that relationship ended, you had kids in that relationship, now you're moving to another relationship, you're dating someone, you get married to someone, and now you're bringing kids into the picture, and this person is coming in. Would you allow your spouse, your new mate, would you allow that person to discipline your children? Let's flip it to another scenario. Maybe the person that you had the kids with, if you're a woman, the kid's father, if you're a man, the kid's mother, is now, you all have split up, you all are no longer together, but that person now is dating someone else or in a relationship with someone else or getting married to someone else. Would you allow that person that they're dealing with, they come into the picture, would you allow that person to discipline your children? All right. These are different scenarios. These are different scenarios that we have to think about, because I'm sure a lot of us are dealing with these scenarios. Would you allow someone else to discipline your children? Now, I know discipline comes in many forms. Discipline, you're just trying to get the child aligned to following certain guidelines and rules that have been set forth. So discipline can be spanking. It can be a whipping with the belt. Yeah, but it might not be that extreme. It may be, okay, I take their phone away. Will you allow that person to take their phone away? Or will you be like, nah, you didn't pay for that phone. You don't pay the bill. I pay that phone. You're not going to take away my child's phone. I know some of you be like that. Some of you be like that. I've seen it all. I've seen it. So would you, or maybe they yell at your child. Your child is being disrespectful, maybe with their mate, that person they're in a relationship with, and they take a stand and say, you know what, no, I got to draw the line because this is the way I was raised. You're not going to talk back to your mother. You're not going to talk back to your father. So I got to draw the line, even though you're not my child, quote unquote, but I got to draw the line. And if word gets back to you, are you okay with that? Are you okay with that? Them yelling at your child, them, like I said, taking away maybe their cell phone. Maybe they say, maybe they were supposed to go somewhere, and because of their behavior, they're like, nah, you ain't going nowhere. You're on punishment because of your behavior. That's discipline as well. You're setting discipline for the child as well. So would you be okay with that? Would you be okay with that person stepping in and being that disciplinarian while they're with your child, because they have their own home, their own space? So while they're over there, would you be a parent that's cool with that and say, hey, are you teaching your child to be respectful wherever they go? Because a lot of parents, and let's talk about this too, a lot of parents, I've seen it with my own eyes, a lot of parents, they use the child as a tool to cause disruption in the other person's relationship. I've seen it before. Like I said, me and my wife, we got married. She had 3 kids, a daughter and 2 sons. And the boy's father, he did it. With our oldest son, he did it as much as he could. He tried to bring disruption into our relationship. It failed, but he tried to bring disruption where he tried to, manipulate the son, coach him. Oh, you don't have to listen to him. I'm coming in as a father figure in the house. I'm coming in and trying to set a guideline, trying to set an example, trying to lay down rules and guidelines in the house and be a father in the house. But his biological father is like, look, he's mad that she left him. He's mad that she moved on. So a lot of people, they do it. They'll use the child to try to cause friction in the house, because they think hopefully it'll be too much and he'll take off or she'll take off. So I've seen parents do that, like anything that, oh, you don't have to listen to that man. You don't have to listen to that woman. That ain't your mother, that ain't your father. Or anything, you try to set some guidelines, they say, oh, you don't talk to my child like that. I'm the mother, I'm the father. If any problem, you come to me, which I understand. I understand that, because you are the parent. You are like, this is my child. but also this is my house, So if I'm the mate coming in, this is my house, so I got rules and regulations in the house. I understand you don't want me to touch your child. I understand that, but I gotta have guidelines and rules in my house. And if your son, your daughter lives with me and comes into the house or stays in the house, they have to also follow those guidelines and rules in my house. So I just want to know what about that topic? I mean, if you're, because I'm saying a lot of us are dealing with that. You're meeting people. There's a good chance that when you meet someone, if you're a man, you meet a lady, she probably has kids already. If you meet a man, sisters, he might have kids already. So this is something that needs to be discussed, because when those kids come into the picture, they're in your house, they're in your presence. I'm sure that you have certain guidelines, you have certain rules, there's a certain way that you want them to follow. There's a certain steps you want them to walk. That's discipline. That's discipline. Like I said, discipline can be in many forms and shapes. It doesn't have to be, sometimes we automatically just run to, oh, hitting my children. No, you might not. I understand that. That's your kid. You might putting their hands on your kids. I understand that. But if I need him or her to focus and I take their cell phone away for a while, will you have a problem with that? If they've been very disrespectful, yeah, they're supposed to go to the football game at the school. Yeah, they're supposed to go here or go there, but no, they've been out of line, so I'm saying they ain't going. Are you going to have a problem with that? Or should the other person, will you set guidelines and say, look, if I understand, he was mouthing off, I understand she was mouthing off, but because they're my child, come talk to me first. Will you set up that line of communication with the other person and say, or with your ex and the other person and say, hey, anytime my child is out of order, come talk to me. I don't play that. I deal with it myself. You know what I'm saying? What kind of guidelines would you set forth with that? This is important because if you're going to marry someone who has kids, trust me, I've done a lot of weddings. I've done some premarital counseling in the past. This is why I am a proponent, an advocate for everyone who's getting married to do premarital counseling, because you got to lay down expectations. You can't just come into a marriage and not understand what's happening, what's going to happen, what is our expectations. She has kids. What's the expectations on a topic like this? Discipline. What can you take, or what will you allow? If you're the other parent, now that I'm in the picture, or now that the other person is in the picture, what will you allow as far as disciplining your children? Because when you marry someone, I know people don't like to hear this when people say this, but when you marry someone who has kids, you do marry the kids because they're a package deal. They're a package deal. You're not gonna marry the woman, or you're not gonna marry the man and exclude the children. They have kids, so the kids are coming along, so you gotta be able to figure out, okay, how is this gonna work? Because now you all are coming under one roof. And like I said, you're laying down your law. You're laying down your rules that you have under your roof, under your house, and you expect them to adhere to it. So you better make sure that you, your spouse, the children, the other parent, if they're in the picture, you're all on the same page. Because once you say I do, there ain't no turning back. You should have figured that out before you got married. That's why it's definitely good. It's extremely beneficial for you to do premarital counseling, because you want to lay down every scenario before you say I do. You want to know expectations coming in, because you don't want to say, oh, they just threw this on me, I wasn't expecting this. Well, you should have been expecting it. I knew a man who got married to a woman, and he just jumped in. She had 3 kids. Now, these 3 kids, they were a little bit older, I think maybe teenage, and some were like young adults, but they were her kids, and they were living with her. And she was expecting them to stay with her, and they got married, and then he's like, look, I don't want the 2 oldest kids to live here. She's like, no, my kids not going nowhere. I don't want the 2 older kids to live here. She said, no, my kids are not going nowhere. It became a battle. He said, okay, I want them to pay this amount of much of rent they here. She said, no, I don't want to do it to my kids. So that's something they should have dealt with before they got married, because now it's becoming, a hassle. All hell is breaking loose in the house, and that marriage didn't last that long. Just to let you know, that marriage didn't last that long, and a big part of it was just that they weren't ready. They weren't ready. They didn't lay down the expectations, so the problem with the kids became a lot. it led to just more issues, more fighting and everything, and they end up splitting up. So I'm telling you, you definitely need to do premarital counseling. Talk it over before you get started, before you get into know and lay down the guidelines. This is what I expect. This is my house. I expect your kids to follow this. I'm going to love them like my own. Oh, yeah, you're in the picture. I understand you're the father, or switch it around, you're the mother. Let's open up a dialogue together. Let's work together, and let's do it for the beneficial of the kids. So what is your thought about this? What is your thought about this topic? Would you allow someone else, whether your ex has gotten married and that person is coming in, or whether you're bringing somebody into the picture and you have kids, different scenarios you can throw out there, but would you allow someone else, another partner, would you allow that person to come in and discipline your kids? Talk to me. This is all I have for this episode. Please share your thoughts in the comments. Don't be shy. Share your thoughts in the comments. You don't have to agree with me. You don't never have to agree with me. This is a free space. Share I could be like, man, Chris, you dead wrong. You dead wrong on this one. Let me know your thoughts. Share this episode. All right. Before I get out of here, I always like to do this. I want to give a shout out to my dream team, Blessed Dreams Production, my boy Alfred. Eyes Have Not Seen, my sister Marilyn. They are the dream team, the driving force behind this podcast. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this episode. I'm going to be dropping another episode very soon, so look out. Remember, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you the next episode. All right? God bless you.
Don't ever take nothing for granted, man. Hey, you gotta wake up and realize that